If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First, it's free. Second, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else podcasts are heard. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast, all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
The stories, the hustle, the grind, the push, the pain, the time, love, the sweat, the tears, goes beyond the lights, the stage, the fame, and the message stays the same. You're listening to the Indie Takeover.
Everything is you. Oh, everything is you. Jesus, everything is you. Oh, everything is you. For your love never fails, your love never fails, your love endures forever. For your love never fails, your love never fails, your love endures forever. For your love never fails, your love never fails, your love endures forever. For your love never fails, your love never fails, your love endures forever. Everything is you. Oh, everything is you. Jesus, everything is you. Oh, everything is you. You cover me when I lose my way. You give me hope for a brand new day. You are my light in the darkest night, and I worship you with all my might. For your love never fails, your love never fails, your love endures forever. For your love never fails, your love never fails, your love endures forever. Amazing grace, oh how sweet that sound. No longer lost, but my soul is found. Your mercy shall always follow me every day. Your favor it covers me. For your love never fails, your love never fails, your love endures forever. For your love never fails, your love never fails, your love endures forever. For your love never fails, your love never fails, your love endures forever. For your love never fails, your love never fails, your love endures forever. For your love never fails, your love never fails, your love endures forever. For your love never fails, your love never fails, your love endures forever. For your love never fails, your love never fails, your love endures forever. For your love never fails, your love never fails, your love endures forever. Everything is you. Oh, everything is you. Jesus, everything is you. Oh, everything is you. All I need is you. Oh, all I need is you. Jesus, all I need is you. Oh, all I need is you. For your love never, the way that you love me fails, it never.
You are listening to the Indie Takeover, and I welcome you to today's show. I am graced with the presence of a phenomenal artist who we just heard on her song Love Never Fails from her EP, Tiffany, Binion, Mangum.
Yes, Mangum. You got
Mangum,
it.
there it is. Okay, I got it. Tiffany, thank you for joining us today on the Indie Takeover. It is an honor to have you on our show today. Please tell our guests, our audience, who you are, what you do, where you're from, and
Yeah, first of all, thank you for letting me be here and giving us indie artists a platform to come and share our artistry and our ministry. I am Tiffany Binion Mangum, born here in Fresno, California, right in the middle of California, state of California. Born and raised here. I have been a PK all my life. My dad has been our senior pastor for years now, all my life anyway. And I've been serving under him as a worship leader for a really long time. And so, I just think I've been songwriting for years. And finally, the Lord just opened a door and an avenue for me to connect with an amazing producer, Louis Lou. He's also an artist himself.
yes.
And Lou helped me and crafted him and Jan Hunter, who's also from the Bay. They came together and crafted my debut EP, which I'm so grateful for. It's an amazing opportunity to work with some gifted artists and gifted producers in their own right.
Absolutely. Those two that you just named, I am very familiar with them, and I did not know that they helped us, but I can hear the influence. So
Yeah.
I mean, because it's these. I'm telling you, just everybody stay tuned, because we're gonna listen to some more of the music from Tiffany's EP. But I'm telling you, it's great music. It's stuff that you would want in your music library. And I'm not just saying that because you're on the show, but I'm just saying,
I'll take it.
I like the music. So
Thank you. Thank you.
and it helps that you can sing. Because
that is key.
you have some songwriters who aren't really singers, and you have some singers that aren't really songwriters. So I know we haven't heard everything, but did you write all the songs on your EP, or?
I wrote all of them except for one. Pray for me. All of them, actually, one I co-wrote with one of a friend of mine here in the area, and another artist. She is a CCM artist, actually, Amy Berna, whose album is going to be released in a few months out of Nashville. And they co-wrote Manifest with me, which is the title track.
Yes.
So yeah, I wrote them all except for one. So yeah, I'm really proud of the work. It was a long time coming. I'm grateful that it's being well received.
Nice. I am very I don't want to say impressed, but it is an inspiration, because you find a lot. I know you mentioned that you've been leading worship at your father's church, and you find a lot of people in church, or that are used to just serving in ministry. They get stuck in that, or they feel like that's all there is for them,
Yeah.
And I know you said it was a long time coming. Kind of tell us a little bit about that. How did that journey? How'd you make the decision to say, okay, now's the time? Or, what was your moment to?
Well, it was kind of a series of things. People have been telling. Again, let me back up. I've been, leading worship for a long time, writing music for a long time. I think my first song that I actually wrote and or co-wrote and actually released on a recording, I was maybe 15 or 16 years old, and it was on our youth and young adult choir here in this area. They were called BAD, Born Again and Delivered.
Yes.
You remember them? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was one of the original members and grew up singing and writing and arranging for that group, along with several others. I think a lot of us out of that group came out of that group writing and recording. And so I started there, and just over time, it came into something where I was writing some real personal worship medleys.
Yeah.
And singing them just in the course of worship. And then I would eventually collect some of those things over time, just taking my CD from worship service and just collecting it. And he said, you know what? And I was praying about it. I said, Lord, if you open up a door for me to do this, I'll do it.
Yeah.
No fear. I won't hold back. And through just some years of really trying to work on my craft, really trying to learn about myself as an artist and a songwriter and a worshiper, honestly.
Yeah.
It kind of all came together. My parents encouraged me, say, Tiff, do it. I had some family members really push me to do it. I had some key cheerleaders, I ain't gonna lie, who said, Tiff, no holds bar. Forget this fear thing. No fear.
Yeah.
No fear.
No fear.
And so, because as an artist, it's really hard sometimes because you're putting your baby out there and you don't know how people are going to receive it.
Right.
And so that's kind of how it was for me starting out. But eventually, God gave me really kind of some lead and some effort to some push to really do something more and greater than what I was already doing. And I finally got to a place where I could do it. And so here we are. And the process really started about 1.5 years ago. I first walked into that booth. I said, okay, Lou. He was like, come on, Tiff. I was like, all right, here we go. And just session after session, sung my heart out. And Lou and Jan put together something, what you hear. And again, I'm grateful.
Awesome. I want to take a quick break and listen to the title track on the EP, Manifest. If you can, I know you talked about it real brief. How did that song come to be? What does it mean? Just set it up however you want. But
okay. Manifest was a song kind of birthed out of a little bit of frustration because in kind of a wilderness season.
Yeah.
Kind of like with the children of Israel, they like, Moses, why you bring us out here?
Right.
So it was one of those, and so I got to a point, I was like, Lord, I need you to manifest your presence.
Absolutely.
Like, you need to be real to me right now. And he took me back to Acts chapter 2, the first Pentecost, the first manifestation of the Holy Spirit. And that's kind of where the lyrics kind of start out, where there was such a unison sound and worship and movement at that time, where although they were speaking different languages, that didn't matter. Right. There was a oneness amongst each other and with the Holy Spirit that the Lord manifests himself. And I said, Lord, I want that experience. And that's kind of where it all started. So manifest your glory.
Incredible. Let's take a break and listen to Manifest.
One sound, one place, one worship, one God, His Son. Holy Spirit, we're calling on you. King of glory, we welcome you. Find your rest here and now. your presence. Your power, yeah, and it's your grace, not your hand, God. We're seeking your face, Holy Spirit. We're calling, we're asking for you, Jesus, King of glory. We welcome you in this place, oh Lord, here in our midst. Oh God, manifest your power. Manifest your grace. Manifest your glory right here and right now. We declare that you're worthy, and we declare that you're righteous, God. And we say from the fruit of our lips, yes, God, as we worship you around your throne, Lord. You're worthy, Lord, and you are a just God. Yes, you are, Lord. Yes, you are, Lord. Yeah, we declare that there's no one above you, Jesus. Nobody. You are holy, 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 Lord. We declare that you're worthy, Lord, and we declare that you're righteous. Yeah. And right here, we need you to manifest your power. Yeah, your power. Your power, Jesus. We need you to manifest your grace. Your grace that redeems us, and your grace that restores us. Manifest your glory. Your glory, Lord, yeah. Shekinah glory rain down. Hey, let it rain, let it rain. Yeah, we need your presence. Your presence, Jesus. Here in this place, Lord. Yeah, manifest, yeah. We're needing more of your glory, more of your power, Lord, more of your grace, Lord. Manifest your glory here, Lord. Oh, right here, God, in this place, oh Lord, we're needing more and more and more of you, Lord. We're thirsty, God. We're hungry, Lord. Fill our cups till we overflow, Lord. Oh, dwell here in our midst, Lord Jesus. Yes, God.
We are back at the Indie Takeover, and you just heard the amazing title track from Tiffany, Binion, Mangum EP.
Yes,
I'm telling you, it's
you got it.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna master it by the end of this interview. But
Right
no,
on.
Manifest. I love the song just because of what it means, that place of, like you said, of unisons, of being one, and a lot of
Yeah.
times, as worship leaders, it's kind of hard to really get everyone in, focused and understanding. Okay, this is our focus, this is our goal, this is what we're trying to get to, and to join in with heaven, join in with the song of the Lord, and so you being a worship leader and an artist, do you notice at any time for yourself or even with others that there is a challenge or a struggle making that separation between artistry and worship ministry, or ministry and artistry? Is there a difference, or is it, how do you handle that?
Yes, it's been difficult, and in some cases, it's still something I have to learn to separate. I get it from my management team all the time. Um, as we go back and review some of the recordings, the video recordings of me going around and different gigs I get, it's a struggle because my heart is just there as to worship.
Yeah.
And some of the other tracks you'll hear, like Manifest, to me is a worship kind of track, and then you'll get into Live to Worship. It's kind of borderline there, but it's just where my heart is. It's just worship. That's just who I am and what I've been purposed to do. But how God has allowed me to kind of transition and open up the avenue really for artistry. Artistry is really kind of new to me. And so I'm learning how to navigate that part of my existence and my music. But like I was saying, it's been really difficult because you go into some settings and some platforms where they don't want to hear you minister. They just want you to sing your song.
Yeah.
You got 6 minutes when my track is 5 minutes and 58 seconds.
Right.
And get off stage.
Sing and sit down.
Yeah, exactly. Which is okay. Like I tell people, I do what I'm supposed to do. I get up there, sing my song, and sit down. I'm not going to go over. I'm not going to try to overdo it. I'm just going to do what y'all called and asked me to do and sit down. And I believe the Lord will bring the rest. But I try to, in artistry, I try to focus and say, okay, Lord, you've given me this window here because I'm going to do everything in order as the people have asked me to do. So you've given me this window here. How can I use this time for artistry, also plugging in ministry? How do you want to reach people in this window? Yeah. Through this song, through this message. And he does it every single time. Every single time.
Yeah.
And so I'm learning how God will use the ministry inside of the artistry. And sometimes, you'll start off in artistry, and you'll start off wanting to you'll start off being cognizant of, okay, how you present the song, your dynamics. Okay, are you pushing this phrasing enough? Are you doing this with this? Are you doing the dynamics enough? But then it'll morph into something completely different.
Yeah.
God will totally turn it and switch it on you. I've done that before. I was at a church about a month and a half ago, and the Lord took the song straight from artistry into ministry. It was funny because I even turned around and started singing, and I was like, wait a minute, I got an audience.
Right.
Where?
Got good to you.
The Lord, yeah, it sure did. It got in my spirit, and I said, Lord, okay. But it's difficult, and I would encourage other artists to learn to master both, but also, discern when it's the right time to have which one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you this, because what it sounds like to me is your relationship with God allows you to hear from him. And a lot of artists, no shade, lack that. They lack that communication where they can hear the shift, where they can hear direction. Okay, God, what is it next? Where am I going now? So I'm interested to see, what is your preparation? How do you kind of put yourself, both ministry wise and artistry, like
or do you do voice lessons?
Mhm.
Are you, do you study the word constantly, or
Mhm.
just a I mean, everybody has their own prep, their own routine of what they do, but just interested in
Yeah.
seeing what Tiffany's um, method is. How do you prepare for what you do?
I do a couple of things, various things, but technically, I do some things, voice lessons, as you mentioned. That's a huge one for me. Doing them every other weekend, primarily learning some vocal techniques, both that are just general techniques and exercises and things to really want to increase my range. All these different things,
Yeah.
technical things. But also, my vocal coach will train me specific to a song. For example, Manifest is one of those songs that's just vocally is just like, oh my gosh, why
Yeah.
did I even write it this long? So she's working with me on that. Really, one thing I had to learn on that song, for example, is pacing myself. So that's some of the technical things I do. I've also played piano. I've been classically trained, 15 years doing that. Did a little bit at the university in college, and used that skill to really try to work vocally. I try to combine them and cross pollinate, so to speak. So I use my ear that I use for singing in piano, because I don't know how to play piano by ear. I'm navigating that
Really?
world, and it's crazy because I can look at sheet music and play, but you try to get me a song, and I'm like, okay, wait.
Wow.
So I'm actually quite the opposite, where there are thousands upon eons of musicians who play actually the other way. They play by
Right.
ear but don't read. So I was grateful. My parents really started me off early in music. So I started playing when I was 4.
Wow.
And so I trained that. So I learned to read. I learned all the theory, all of that. But now I'm trying to navigate the world of playing by ear. So I use that also in preparing. But also, just thinking, as you said, you talked about relationship with God. I mean, just like, you have a relationship with any person or other human being, you're going to spend time. You're going to learn them. You're going to learn their quirks. You're going to learn how they
Yeah.
do things. And so I spend time trying to learn the voice of God and trying to be sensitive to that in worship. If you catch me leading worship, sometimes and I've gotten questions about this in worship. I'll pause at the end of a song. I won't, sometimes just be so quick to move on,
Yeah.
and stick to the agenda. So it's sometimes being okay with not sticking to the agenda, all in submission to leadership in what your pastor has put forth for your worship ministry and your minister of music has put forth for that. But learning the voice of God, training my ear as you do in music, training your ear for the voice of God,
Yes.
reading his word. I believe worship leaders need to be in Bible study and in prayer meeting.
Absolutely.
Um, that's just me.
Yeah.
Call me old school. It's all good.
No, that's the good
Um,
school.
but hey man, that's just kind of how I grew up. Holiness isn't a denomination; it's definitely a lifestyle.
Definitely.
And so to help me in that lifestyle is just to be in prayer and Bible study. And I can't do
Absolutely.
it alone. So fellowship is another thing, but all that contributes to who I am as an artist, who I am as a worship leader and a minister of music and the arts. So all of that encompassing contributes to who you see Tiffany Binion Mangum on stage or anywhere else.
Awesome. I really, you said something that was key, and there was a leader about a few years ago. I don't know who it is, so I can't really say. But the statement was made that too many times in our worship and music settings in our churches, we spend several hours in rehearsal and a few minutes in prayer, when the effectiveness comes from spending hours in prayer and maybe just a few moments in rehearsal, you know? And that's where the effectiveness comes from. And so I love that, because it's so true that as worship leaders, you should be in Bible study. You should be in prayer meeting. You should be, you know, and not even just as worship leaders, as artists that are sharing the gospel. You should know, I should see you, you know, echoing the heart of, you know, if not your leader, at least echoing the heart of God, you know, at the,
Amen.
So yeah, I want to take another break, and I want to listen to Thank You from your EP. Set it up for us. Tell us a little bit about the song, and we'll take a break and listen to it.
Awesome. Thank you. I kind of got inspired listening to some old school funk and some old school R&B. I'm a 90s kid.
Yeah.
So it kind of got a little feel with that. Lou actually is featured on this track. And it's just from a heart of gratefulness. I've always told the Lord that I'm not going to, you know, grumble and complain, Philippians 2. I'm going to have a heart and a posture of gratefulness and being grateful for all that you've brought me through. And so it's kind of also a testimony to my relationship with the Lord.
Yes.
So,
well, let's listen to Thank You from your EP.
Good evening. Just want to thank y'all for tuning in once more. And this is what we're going to do. I'm going to come through and give y'all some, you know, another one of those real funky.
When I think of all you've done, Lord, can't imagine ever living without you.
Say what?
Can't explain just what you mean to me. It's amazing all things you brought me through. I want so much just to be pleasing.
Yeah.
I just want to make you smile and say, well done.
That's right.
My faithful servant, to be with you for all time. In every language and in every tongue.
That's right.
You're my joy, you are my number one.
Verse 2.
You're so perfect, so incredible.
Say what?
There is nothing you can't do, Lord. I could never
That's right.
find another. I have searched all over, through and through. Your love's amazing. It's overwhelming. Lord, it's so much more than life. And how your joy flows just like a river. It's in you my heart delights. In every language and in every tongue.
That's right.
You're my joy, you are my number one.
Hey. So this is the point of the joint right here. Well, we just gonna smooth it out just a minute for y'all. Give y'all something to groove to. Is that alright with you? Hey, y'all, Jerry. Come on.
that you sent your son to come see about me. Could not see my way, but give me another day. And I'm glad to say that you saved my life, Lord. I say thank you, Lord. I bless your name. I thank you, Lord, for giving me another day.
Welcome back to the Indie Takeover. I'm telling you, we are being blessed and treated to some really good moments with Tiffany, Binion, Mangum. I got it. I got
You sure
it.
did.
I'm patting myself on the back.
You said you would. You got it. Yes.
I'm enjoying this time because, you know, with music, it, like you said, it's not always easy, you know, taking the road of an artist, you know, finding out, you know, who you want to be, you know, what type of artist you want to be, and all of that. So in you making that decision, what has been some of your musical influences, whether in writing or just, you know, in your artistry and your ministry? What are your inspirations and influences?
You know, growing up, it has always been CC Winans.
Yes.
And it's crazy. I didn't try to, but in some areas, I would be told I sounded like her. And I was like, what? No, she's way over. She's like, what? No. You know, because in my world, she's like the Beyonce of God. I mean, she's just taking over,
Right,
you know,
right.
growing up.
Yeah.
And so that's who and another thing is because I always admired her grace.
Yes.
And how she actually lived and believed what she was singing about.
Exactly.
You know, it wasn't just a show for her. And so that's like one of my ultimate dreams is to one day sing on, I mean, I don't care if she called me out from the crowd. I'd be like, yes, God. And it's like even her new music and her just kind of this renaissance of CC has just been amazing for me. I've been totally blessed. And, you know, my new song is Devil Get Out, the one she does with Dorinda. I was like, yes, God.
Yeah.
Woo! And so, anyway, CC has been like my number one overall. But over the years, I've also have kind of followed and have studied the Tamala Man.
Yeah.
She is one I mean, her spirit is just right. I had the chance actually, and I posted it too. It was I think I posted on Instagram. I actually met her and her husband in the airport, and what happened was I always take, because it was Stellar's weekend, we had all just got through singing, and it was 5:30 in the morning. It was like we was too tired, and I said, Lord, she walked by, she stood there in front of me, and she walked by. I said, Lord, if I ever get a chance to say hello to her again, if you give it to me, Lord, I will take it. Because I try to leave artists alone, because I know how I am. I don't have an attitude or anything, but you know, you just like not. Look, y'all, it's 5:30 in the morning. So, so I was trying to be respectful. Right. Yeah, trying to be respectful. So anyway, I ran into her and had a chance to really connect with her on a personal level. We talked about our testimonies and our past, you know. And so, it was there the Lord really showed me, for real, she is really about this thing. She believes it. Yeah. She believes it. So I really kind of cling to those artists such as the Tamalas, the CCs. I do also admire some of our male artists, but I really look to our female artists from the standpoint of being a woman in this industry, being a woman of God, one who truly is about this thing. Yeah. I really look to them as women I could really model after, both in ministry, artistry, and in life. So those are, I would say, two of the ones I really look to.
I love it. I'm a fan of both CC and Tamala. So I mean, and I can see that. I see that influence because because of what I've observed of you and just listening to your music, there is just that for real, sincerity that for some artists that are out there now, they lack that, and it may be because this is not really what they've been called to do. But timing is everything, placement is everything, and understanding that God's timing is not ours. But when that moment comes and when he's breathing on, your efforts and your work, you don't have to fight for anything. It will happen.
It will happen.
So, I celebrate that in you. I celebrate all that God is doing and will do. And I want to just ask one or two random questions. I do this with everyone. But just, some folks like to know, little random facts about, about artists that they, are fans of. So for your fans out there, they want to know some things about you. So my first question is, if you had to watch one movie for the rest of your life, what would it be?
It would be... Oh man, I've kind of been watching it. I think I watched it 10 times in a row already. Think Like a Man 2 or Love Jones.
Oh man.
I'm a huge Black love movie fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be, if I had to choose one out of those two, maybe Think Like a Man 2. I mean, the comedy, the whole relationship piece, the fun, the ladies have together. I'm all about that too.
Yeah.
Just having a good time. God's given us life. Live it. Come on. To his glory, but live it.
Absolutely. I'm a fan of Love Jones, so I would have to go with Love Jones.
Yes.
But I would also, if you didn't even ask me the question, but I'm gonna just answer it. I would say it within the category that you just named, it would be Best Man.
Oh.
Both
Good
the original, well, not the original, but the first one and Best Man Holiday. I just really love that whole story with everybody, the friendship, the ups and downs. It the second one was a little sad, but it's just it's still but
it was good.
Right.
Well written.
It was very good. Very good. Okay.
Awesome.
My second random question is, if you had the opportunity to collaborate with any artist, any genre, living or dead, who would it be?
Toby Mac.
Really?
Oh my God. You know what? I would say, actually, there's two, but Toby Mac or Fred Hammond. Actually, I told my team, I was like, y'all think I'm crazy, but I'm gonna ask Fred Hammond to help me write a song. Right. I ain't gonna lie. And sing with me on it.
Yeah.
And all he can do is tell me no. But yeah, he's Fred Hammond or Toby Mac. Toby Mac is an amazing producer.
He absolutely is.
And artist. And I actually became a fan of his more in my adult, actually when he went solo. And he kind of DC Talk kind of broke up.
Yeah.
I really became a fan of his because I actually saw what he could do and what he was about. And then Fred Hammond has just always been like the number one worship artist to me. Like, who don't sing Fred?
Exactly. Because we was singing No Weapon for at least 20 years. I mean,
shown up. Still singing it.
And the crazy thing is, I love DC Talk. I remember DC Talk song on the Prince of Egypt soundtrack. And so I know you a Toby Mac fan, because if you mentioned DC Talk, then
yes. I mean, they were actually the first rap group that because we grew up like PK, we didn't listen to no secular music.
Right.
So that was like the only rap sort of hip hop that
Right.
we could listen to.
Something that didn't sound churchy.
Yeah, you know.
Right. I know exactly what you mean. Wow. Okay. Well, let's put that out there. That you know, Toby Mac, if you're listening to the Indie Takeover,
Come on.
you know, because we never know who's listening. You know,
That's true.
somebody that knows somebody. You know, Fred
That's
Hammond.
true.
Anybody know
Come
Fred
on.
Hammond? Tiffany
You got
Binion Mangum is ready for the collaboration. So
Hey.
and so
Yes.
if they are listening, this is a perfect segue, and I try to work on these. If they are listening, please let us know how we can get in contact with you, how we can listen to your music, purchase your music, support you, follow you, share all that info with us.
Awesome. I really like to connect with people. So if you would connect with me on social media, I'm on, what am I on? Facebook and Instagram as Tiffany Binion Mangum. I'm on Twitter as Tiffany B Mangum. You can find me on all three of those social media. I love to connect with people. I love to see I actually connected with somebody in Brazil, and she sent me a message in Spanish, and I sent her one back in Spanish. So
Nice.
connect with me. Actually, I worship in Spanish. I don't know if you knew that. Let me plug that in there. I worship I figure God is worthy in every language.
Absolutely.
So why not learn it? So connect with me on social media. To any booking, any of that is bodgedenterprises@gmail.com. That's BAJD as in David, enterprises@gmail.com. My website, tbmmusicministries.com. My music is on iTunes and Google Play. You can connect with me there. I just want to connect with people and let people know that Jesus loves them. And so do I. Love God, love people.
Yes.
And there it is.
Yes. And we love you. I have been blessed literally just to spend this moment in time with you and to share and just dialogue. Really honored for that.
Me too.
I want to end this interview with your single from your EP. And it is titled Live to Worship. And you are welcome to set it up however you would like.
Well, Live to Worship, I have to tell you, started off as kind of a CCM rock worship song. And again, I've had, some of that funk influence. My dad is a huge Earth, Wind & Fire fan. Don't tell him. Don't tell him. So he has to go out of town to go to the concerts because it's like, Dr. Binion, what?
Right.
So, turning up at the Earth.
Hey.
Anyway, so that along with Lou, my executive producer, we all kind of put into this sound that you hear on Live to Worship, and it really is my life's message. It really is what I'm all about. Is to worship and to be in his presence. That's all I long to do.
Yes.
So that's what it is. Live to worship.
Absolutely. Well, we are going to wrap it up with the Indie Takeover, and we are going to listen to Live to Worship by Tiffany Binion Mangum on the Indie Takeover.
Come on.
Thank you.
Hey.